Hello, this is RICKY, the Android Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Android Weekly, where we go over the mobile news and then answer all of your questions. If you are new to Android Weekly, I'm going to go over all the articles during the week, and then we're going to go over your questions that you emailed me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com. After that, we will answer all live questions that you may have. Just ask them in the comment section down below, and I will answer them as soon as I'm done. There was a lot of stuff, guys, and that is because Google I/O was announced. Unfortunately, I did not get to do what I believe will be announced beforehand, but everything I thought would be announced was announced. I told all my friends, I'm like, yeah, it'll be the new Android OS, Android Wear, Android for car, and Android for TV. That will be all there, and they're probably going to announce the watches there. Tablet is kind of 50-50, and there will be no phone. I was pretty dead on. So yeah, a lot of stuff. First, let's talk about Android L. Now, first of all, there is no official title for this, meaning that it's going to be some type of tasty treat. That is what we get with every Android version. There is no official title for this one yet. So it's just being called Android L. The much suspected one is Lollipop, but that's not been confirmed by anyone on Google, so they have not said what it's going to be. But what does this have? Well, it has something really cool, and let's go into it a little bit in depth. So the first thing it has a lovely new UI called Material Design, which is really beautiful. It's kind of like what iOS tried to do by the flatness, but yet this is more active, as well as, it's not like god-awful colors. So really well in terms of that. Enhancements, some are made where search, it just works better. So if you recently searched something in an app, it will be able to find it, which is really good. So if I search for, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and that was on Netflix, well, then it can find it in Netflix. So that's a really cool ability to do. In recent apps, you have a new menu design, which has added the ability for apps to add a specific area in the app instead of just what you recently opened. So, for instance, instead of Chrome, you could have a web page on Chrome instead of just the Chrome app. So that's a really great looking feature that is really nice, and I'm going to be surprised what developers can come up with this, because any developer can do this. So if you're playing Angry Birds, it can be specifically to that stage in Angry Birds, or something just like that, which not only will make it look nicer, but it's just going to make kind of going back to where you left off a lot easier. Sizable improvements on notifications. So notifications are now going to be in the lock screen, which is really nice. So you can now have them in lock screen. I've seen this on third party, but it's just nice for stock Android to have it. Some of these things really have always been available on stock Android, but they haven't been built into itself. So another one is called Float Caller, which I have loved on my Galaxy S5, which is just basically, when you get a text message, it will be above right here, or a call, it'll be above right here while you're still actively on your app. And don't think I have a photo of that, but that's essentially what that will have. And of course, your notifications are going to be more interactive, so that if you kind of close it from here, it will close it from the notification panel as well, which is really nice. And basically, the other design is Android is everywhere. They wanted to put it in your car, in your wrist, on the phone, of course, on your computer, because Chrome now accepts Android apps. Android TV is just amazing. And, of course, for home automation system, we know that's coming. Android will run 64-bit processors when they come out, so that is very nice. And you do have the ART basically permanently installed now. And so what this means is essentially you're supposed to have faster speeds in doing certain things. And if you want to experience this on your newer devices, they should allow you to switch to it. In developer options, you will have what do you want your device set to, and this is the default, and you can switch it over to ART. This will cause your phone to reset and do a bunch of stuff, but it does take a while. So important to know. Console graphics is basically, this is supposed to have really impressive graphics coming, and I mean, we're definitely going to see it with the NVIDIA processor that we saw at CES was just amazing, and not to mention the Snapdragon 805 that's going to be coming out on devices later this year. It's just amazing. If what they showed at CES is true, then what we're going to be seeing is really close to console graphics. Not so much to this gen, but I mean, if we get to PS3 graphics on a phone, that's pretty impressive. Android L also brings Project Volta, which is essentially, again, this is stuff we have seen on third-party, power saving mode. And essentially what it does is it makes sure all of these are on check. So your Bluetooth, your cell phone, your Wi-Fi, your GPS, CPU, and display are all on check so you get the most out of your battery life. And then finally, when it comes to security, they are going to be using Samsung Knox in order to kind of separate a work and a business aspect, which is really great and very smart. This was probably one of the big deals that came between the partnership of Android and Samsung being able to use each other's patents. Google is now using Knox security for their kind of splitting of, and they just recently bought Divide, which is another app that essentially does the same thing as a Knox container, which again separates a public phone and a work phone to two separate stages. Now, other stuff that was announced, of course, we have Android Wear, which I've already got my device and shipping to me. So I will be getting the Samsung watch. Unfortunately, I wanted both the LG and Samsung, but we'll see how that pairs out, as well as can't wait for the Moto X. Still not out yet, but as soon as it will come out, it should be fun as well. Not to mention Android TV, I'm going to get as soon as it comes out. Android TV looks amazing to me. It's something that I've wanted, and I am moving, so you will be seeing kind of craziness going on in the background. I'm going to try to minimize it for the show, but the new studio, which will be a room in my new place, looks amazing. It's going to be great for the show. I think it's going to go very well. So that should be something to look forward to. You know, I never wanted this in the background, so the other place won't. It's going to be great. I can't wait. So that should be a lot of fun. Other than that, we have some interesting news coming from different sides. So we have Android TV, and then we have Android Auto. Now, Android Auto is a really great concept, but what I'm hoping is that third parties put it, like Pioneer is supposedly going to do the Apple, Air car so that older cars can put it on there. Because I would love Android. I would love Android Auto, but I want it on my car. I don't want to have to get a new car just to get it. And that's the thing that I feel. I think that every new car should have it. Every new car should have it. But to what extent is it going to be on devices? So yes. All right. And the second bit of news is, again, we have the iPhone Air. Again, it's not going to be called the iPhone 6. It's going to be called the iPhone Air. And now it's getting to be more and more likely that supposedly the 5.5-inch will be coming out at the same time as the 4.7, which, as I said before, was not originally going to happen because the 5.5 is going to have had so many issues. They seem to have fixed most of them, but will it? Let's see. Now, what this article was talking about, that the 5.5 might have optical image stabilization, which I still say is pushing it, simply for this. Optical image stabilization is only on devices that do not sell, or that sell in very low margins. That's why you see it on devices that don't sell as much, such as the HTC, the LG, and the Nokia. It's never been on high-selling devices such as Apple and Samsung, and that's simply because OIS manufacturers cannot produce that many. So supposedly the bigger one will have it on its device. Now, will it? I still don't think that they can produce. No, don't get me wrong. I believe the 4.7 will far outsell the 5.5. But I still don't know if it will be possible. I think it's kind of I think it's I would say more like a 30% chance that it will have OIS. I just do not believe it will. Also, the big rumor is that this one's going to have the standard Gorilla Glass, whereas this one's going to have the Sapphire Glass. I also believe that's a long shot. Their Sapphire production seems to not be able to produce that many. And the last article of the day is going to be about Trapper Keeper, guys. Who here had a Trapper Keeper? I totally had a Trapper Keeper when I was younger. Suppose they're coming back and they're going to be universal tablet cases. So I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, is it really the nostalgia factor that'll bring it back for you? Will that do it? Essentially, the 7-inch and 8-inch models will start at the $25 price point, and the 10-inch models will start at the $29 price point. So, you can look like the old school Trapper Keeper, really nostalgic, definitely. I just don't know if that's something that's really going to go for me. What do you guys think? Would you guys totally buy a Trapper Keeper tablet case? Please let me know in the comment section down below. I'm interested to see who's intrigued by this. Alright guys, so now I will be answering the questions that were emailed to me during the week. If you have a question that you want to ask, just email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com and make the subject question, and then ask your question. Alright, so I'm going to be answering the ones that were emailed to me during the week, and then if you have a question, hey Eve Hill, you will just ask it in the comment section down below. As many questions as you want, just ask all the questions you want answers to, and I will answer them. All right, let's start off with the first one that comes from John King. John King asks, can you tell me how to transfer internal storage to SD? I downloaded TubeMate, love it so much. 10 seconds ago, come back. Odd reason. That is odd. So let me answer your first question. So how do you transfer things from the built-in storage to the SD card? Now, it sounds like you just want to transfer over storage, not apps, because apps you can only transfer over if it is 4.2 or newer. 4.0 and 4.1 could not Android 4.0 and 4.1 could not save apps on the SD card. If you have Android 4.2, then you should be able to. On here, it does not seem like I see what your device is. So what you need to get is a file manager if your device doesn't have one built in. So say on like this S5, I have one built in. And this is what I would do. If I wanted to transfer something, I would go to my file manager. Or sorry, it's called My Files on Samsung. So I would go into My Files, right there. And then I would go into device storage. So say if I wanted to transfer over some of these folders, per se. Well, I'm just going to hold, say, the DCIM, because that's where all my photos are that my phone takes. So say if I want to transfer all of those, I just hit the menu button, and then it gives me an option to move, copy, or anything like that. So I can hit move, and as you can see, then it tells me do I want to move it to the storage or the SD. I just hit SD and then move here. So that would be as easy as it would be for the S5. Your device, if it doesn't have something called My Files on a Samsung device or whatever device you're having, then you can just download a third-party one. Astro File Manager is good. ES File Manager is pretty good. But basically, whatever kind of one you want to do, those are some good ones. So that should help. As for your videos stopping after 10 seconds, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that would be. I would try seeing. I would try doing the old True and Faithful, which is what I always do. If you have an app that's crashing, go into Settings, then Application Manager, and go right twice into All, and under All, find the app, force stop it, clear data, and that will clear it like it's brand new. and then try it and see if that works. Please let me know if it worked, John. Richard asks, can someone on an Android phone have a Hangout with someone who's on an iPhone? Also, do both parties have to have a Gmail account or a Google account? Yes, Richard. So the answer to your question is yes for both. So in order to use Hangouts, just like in order to use FaceTime, you do have to have a Gmail account. Just like for FaceTime, you have to have a Me account. So you do have to have a Gmail account. And if both parties have a Gmail account and they have the Hangout app or the Hangout program on their computer, they can chat with each other. Whether it be an iPhone to an Android, whether it be an iPhone to an iPhone, whether it be an iPhone to an iMac. All can communicate with each other through Hangout, and it can even be multiple people, which is what a lot of people like about Hangout. Hangout is essentially iMessage Instant Messenger with FaceTime blended into one app. So that's how it works. Now you can instant message only people that have a Hangout. On Android, it is like iMessage in the sense where if they don't have Hangout, it sends as a text message. Just like on iMessage, if you send through iMessage, if they don't have an iMessage account or a Me account, then it sends as a text message. So same kind of concept. So that's how it works. But yeah, actually, if you hang out from iPhone to iPhone, it is clearer and sharper than FaceTime would be on two iPhones. So that's something to think about. On the 10 hidden features video, you showed this was so a lot of people have always loved on my devices how they have these really cool widgets, and I always give or take about every 2 weeks get asked at least probably 5 to 10 times, what's that widget you're using? So the widgets are called HD widgets, and see, that's the same widget in a different style at the top right there. So with HD widgets, it's essentially the best widgets on. If you have one widget in all of Android, it should be HD widgets. There is nothing that compares to HD widgets. Nothing. When it comes to widgets, they are the best, and they're better than beautiful widgets. They're better than any other. It's the top widget out in the market. You should have HD widgets if you're open to widgets. If you're open to widgets, it's the best one. I've done several videos on it. I don't think I've done one since the new change. Maybe I will do another one, but it's great. HD widgets are the best widgets. So that's how you get it. I think it's $2. Get it. It's well worth it. All right. Vintage 20385 asks, I have the Samsung Galaxy Tab 2 7.0, and I'm switching to a Galaxy Tab 4 10.1. There's a simple way to transfer over all my apps, files, photos from these two devices? Thanks. Yeah, so there's one of two ways. And I'm not sure if you can do the first way. The first way is downloading something called Samsung Smart Switch. So Samsung Smart Switch will look like this, and it should be available for your tablet. It definitely is available for the Tab 4 10.1, but I'm just not sure if you can get it on the Tab 2. I know you can get it on the Tab 3, but not the Tab 2. I'm not positive on that. But go to the Google Play Store or the Samsung App Store and try to find it. If you're not able to get it, then you use something called Samsung Keys. Samsung Keys is an application. Let me see if I can start it up. Samsung Keys allows you to transfer things through a computer. So you can transfer over anything through your computer. So you can connect the Tab 2, transfer everything that was on your device. It's just taking a little while to load. Transfer anything that was on your Tab 2 device, including all of your apps, all of your photos, your files, and everything. And then you transfer it over to... Don't know if it will allow me to share. Yes, there's Keys. Or no. Okay, there's Keys. So yes, so if you show well, kind of went away, but yeah, keys is the way to do it. If you need to transfer it over to your computer, again, this is only if the Smart Switch app does not work. All right, now I'm going to answer the last question. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I see there's a couple of right here. So make sure to ask all your questions on your if you have any down below in the comment section, and I will answer this last question, and then I will get to all of your questions. All right. So Siddha, I think that's Siddha. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I want to know how can I connect my smartwatch to my Samsung Galaxy S Duos. I have Android 4.0.4. And you have this, and you have the Sony smartwatch. So you have the Sony second smartwatch generation. How can you do it? Well, so it should be as easy as downloading the app. You need to download the Sony the Sony app. I forget what it's called. Let me see. Just let me search Sony Smartwatch 2. Yeah, so you need to download this app. Whoop, lost myself. Alright, so you need to download this app right here, and if you download that, then that's what you need to do. And once you have this app, it should work no problem. Now, if for some reason you cannot download this app, you can try searching for this on Google and type in APK. And if you do that, you should get some of the files for ones you can normally download. So that is how you can do it. Very simple and very easily. So that's how you would connect it to your Samsung device if for some reason you can't find it on the Play Store. All right, now let me get to your questions down below. Just a quick sip. All right. So Eve Hill asks, for the last couple of days, my Galaxy Note 2 disconnects from the internet. Any way to stop crashing? I recently updated to Android 4.4. So Eve, couple of things. One, just see if your Wi-Fi, again, kind of like what I always say with the application manager. Go to, actually, let me make sure this has it. I think if you go the same way that we always talk about going to your application manager, and I think Wi-Fi does still have an app. So you go under application manager, and I believe if you go into Wi-Fi, no, you only have Wi-Fi direct. You might not be able to do this trick with Wi-Fi. Yeah, no, you can't do it with Wi-Fi. So what would I do? Honestly, if it gets too bad, what I recommend doing is what I always do. If there was an update and that's what's messing up your Wi-Fi connection, unfortunately, the best thing to do would be to back it up with using Samsung Keys. So Samsung Keys will back up pretty much everything: your text messages, your call log, everything on your device. Reset your phone, and then restore it with Samsung Keys. If it really, really gets annoying to that level. So yeah, if you do, in that sense, let me know. Let me know if it works too. If it gets too annoying, try that. But that's what I would recommend. Hey Meredith. Kronos. Samsung is king of gadgets. Spam. Gus Tab, Gus Tab Pro, hard to decipher. Which 7-inch and 8-inch tab I should get? It will last me for 5 years. That is a very good question. So which tablet should you get if you want it to last for years? So this is what I will say to that. As some of you might have seen, I have the Tab S right back here. This is the 10.5. Just got it in, along with the beautiful, beautiful Logitech keyboard that Logitech sent me that I cannot wait to review. It's so nice. So yes. So which one should you get though if you want it to last for years and years and years? The simple answer to that is the newest one. That's the simple, clear answer to it. Which one do you want to get if you want it to last for years? The newest one. So right now, if you ask me which tablet should I get, that's easy. The Galaxy Tab S 8.4. If you want it to last for a long time, you want the newest one. Now keep in mind one thing. You mentioned Galaxy Note. Galaxy Note 8 came out last year around February. It was announced, and I think it was released around June or May, maybe. That hasn't had an update yet. Guess when it's going to have an update? I would bet money that it will have an update when the Note 4 is announced at Berlin in September. So when that's announced, that's when I guarantee the next Note 8 will come out. Possibly even the Note 10.1, because remember the Note 10.1 2014 edition was announced at that event last year. So my bet is that they will release their Note series at that time. So what you have to ask yourself is, do you care about the pen? Because although the Note series will probably have the faster processor compared to the Tab series that it has now, do you care about the pen? Do you want the latest and greatest? And is it worth it to wait, what, January, July, August, September? About 3 months. You're going to wait at least 3 months for these new tablets. So, depends on what you want. Now what I always do is I have a Best Buy service plan on all these devices. So when my 2-year protection plan is up, I generally have some wear and tear, some physical damage that's happened, or something that goes wrong with it. And guess what? Then I get a new device, and there you go. So that is what I always do, and I always have the newest device. So, and again, these are for the ones that I keep. You know, a lot of these tablets that I review, I don't end up keeping. I don't, I return them, but there's very few that I buy and I keep. The Tab 12.2 is the only currently tablet that I have and I keep and I use on a daily basis. Ones that I don't have, or ones that I have and I don't use, the Nexus 10, the Note 10.1, the first one, and those I don't use anymore. All right, Wayne Glassglow asks, what effect will switch from Delvic, I think that's how we pronounce it, to Art on existing devices in terms of future updates? Will it mean less space on the device? Because I understand apps are preloaded in Art. So I knew this question was coming. What's the difference between Art and Delvic? And really, I haven't seen too much of a difference. I will tell you that. I mean, my S5 was already very fast, but I did upgrade it to that. And again, if I go into settings and under developer options, you can switch it to, see right there, use Art, and that's what I did, instead of the original, which is right there. So have I seen some differences? It runs very fast, but my S5 was already running really fast. So I don't know if I would say it makes that big of a difference. I am testing to see, though, if there's less crashes, because when Art first came out, it had so many crashes because it wasn't apps weren't optimized for it. I can tell you now, when I reset it, it said like 150 apps were being optimized for it. So that's really good because I have an insane amount of apps, yes. But that means pretty much every app was optimized for it. All right. There is a message on my Galaxy Gear running Tizen that TouchWiz has stopped working when I turn it on. What can I do to get it working? There's a message on my Galaxy Gear running Tizen that smart switch has stopped working. So the message is on your watch, not on your phone when you first turn it on. That's really weird. I haven't seen that, Wayne. I'm not positive on what is going on there. That's a very, very peculiar thing. You could try resetting the device. That would be my go-to answer, unfortunately, without kind of seeing it or playing with it. I would reset your gear and see if that will work. If that doesn't work, you can also try checking if there's an update. There's been a lot of updates on the Galaxy Gear. since not only Tizen but also the Gear Manager has had many updates. So you just go into even the Samsung apps and make sure your Gear Manager is up to date. All right, most phones are now boasting of faster shutter speed, but won't that end up being bad taking pictures in low light conditions? Yes and no. So, well, here's the thing. So, say the HTC. The HTC One M8 is, in my opinion, the worst camera phone I've ever had. The M7 was better, in my opinion. So here's the thing. That has an f2.0 lens, so it's letting through more light, right? And that's because it's concentrating not as much on the shutter, but concentrating more on the aperture. But here's the problem with that. These aren't, SLR cameras. They don't have image processors to account for the low light that is going on. So the problem with this situation is that you have letting through more light does not mean a better photo, because what that creates is what's called noise, and it's just more fuzzy. And that's what the HTC is king at. It lets through more light, but it does that. So would a faster shutter mess up your photo? Yes and no. It would typically. But these aren't professional quality cameras. As an ex-photographer, I've been most impressed by the S5. The S5 camera is amazing, and I will challenge anyone. Every time I was at like this little thing for my brother the other day, and it was like a little, tiki torches and all that kind of stuff. I saw everyone with their iPhones try to get a photo. None of them could take a good photo. I pulled out my S5, took a photo, got it instantly. It was a photo that no iPhone there could take, and they had iPhone 5s, iPhone 5Ss there, because I could see a little ring and everything like that. Not one of them could take it. They had to use flash, and then it just kind of like threw it off and just didn't look as good. I took it without it. They were like, oh. It was very funny. So yes. Why are some apps in the Samsung App Store Gear 2 that are not there for the original Gear? Don't they run the same Tizen software? Yes, but they're not the exact same hardware. That because they're not the same hardware, the apps are not working for both. Developers do have to make the app work for the original Gear on Tizen. Which first their development kit sets them up to make it work on the original one, and then has them work on the secondary one. So that's what happens. Is there a really big difference between optical image stabilization and software stabilization? The reviews I've seen so far don't really show it. So, optical image stabilization and software image stabilization. Here's the thing. In the world of cameras and photography, yes, there is a huge difference. In the world of cell phones, well, here's the thing. The cameras that have had optical image stabilization have not sold very well, like I said before, because they can't supply as many. And therefore, with the exception of Nokia, the other ones, HTC and LG, have not had the good image stabilization that, not the image stabilization, have not had the good image processors to go along with the OIS. Samsung and Apple have had better image stabilization, not better image stabilization, better image processors, which is why their photos still come out better half the time even though they don't have the best stabilization. Now, supposedly, Apple is going to come out with Olympus's EIS instead of their OIS. EIS is called electronic image stabilization, which is the same thing as digital stabilization, just a different name that Olympus put on there, and it's supposed to be slightly better, kind of in between the two. It's not that great in terms of a camera and photography, but that's what supposedly Apple's coming out with next on their phone. So is it better? Not really, not like that impressively so, no. In terms of image stabilization, it's good to have better stabilization, of course, but are you going to notice a huge difference? I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're there yet. Look, Nokia phones are amazing, and they are definitely high up there in terms of quality, and some would argue they're still the best. But the stabilization does need to improve, and optical image stabilization is the best way to do it. But I just haven't seen a great pairing of OIS and image processor to match. And that's where we'll really need to see the difference on a really upscale level. All right, guys. Is there any more questions? Let's see. Again, I am moving right now, so I will try my best to be able to have a really good transition, so I don't miss any more days. Try not to miss any more weekly shows. But definitely a lot going on right now with moving. I'll be moving over the next 3 weeks, and then finally, before the end of July, I will be at my new studio, new home, and everything. I will be living with my girl, so all kinds of fun. On the meantime, I'm going to have a temporary shooting here, which just the lighting won't be as good as what we're used to. So hopefully everything will be set though for when we move. All right, guys. It doesn't look like there's any more questions. Let me refresh it one more time to make sure of that. But if not, then we will call it a show. Thank you guys for always tuning in, and really appreciate it. Definitely for all of your support. All right, there are no more questions, so we'll call that a show. Thank you guys for watching. It's been RICKY, the Android Guy.